motherhood, you don't know what the day will bring. You might need to be a nurse, you might need to be a counselor, you might need to be, you know, anything for your child. So making sure that you're something for yourself is just so important. If you're a new mama who loves books and is struggling trying to fit reading into your new identity as a mom, hi, my name is Ama, and welcome to Mommy Maintenance, where we talk about the journey to finding your new identity, becoming a mother, through self-care, leisure, and entertainment. Today's video, we're going to share 5 tips for new moms to be able to work reading into your new life. First tip that I would highly recommend is either setting a set time for reading or a particular event that triggers your reading. So for me, when my son was very, very small, my husband and I split the night shift, you know, in half. And we had a bed within the nursery. You know, one of us would sleep in there with him and kind of be on duty, feedings, changings, everything like that. The other one would be able to sleep in our bed and kind of relax. And what was really helpful about that is that, you know, I realized very quickly that the sleep when the baby sleep recommendation did not work for me. I felt, you know, my most productive at night. I felt the least, you know, on edge or anxious. There was a time frame because it was during my night shift, but it was also the circumstance of my son being asleep, everything is quiet in the house, and I just really have time to escape into a world. And I think that was really, really helpful for me because it allowed me to find pieces of myself in worlds that I feel like I never travel. And it also helped me realize the things that I needed to adjust in order to become a better version of myself. I feel like reading really was a refuge and kind of a buoy in the ever-expanding open water of motherhood. Though I am so blessed to have the support system that I have, as well as not having to, you know, immediately go back to work, reading really offered something for me that I didn't think that I could ever get back, which was me time. Another example of this is when I was working and I had about an hour-long commute, whether I was on the train or in the car. It was really, really an amazing time because of course I have to commute back, so that's at least 2 hours a day that I can dedicate to something that I really love. Sitting on the train and reading Children of Blood and Bone. I just remember, I have a visceral memory of when I read that for the very first time and just the emotions that I was going through and just how crazy it was to be able to do that in public. I used to set my book up on the treadmill and read, and it was a really great way not only for me to get some reading in, but not be thinking about how tired I am and how many miles I've done on this treadmill. So that's, I think, you know, put that in your back pocket. Something else in my particular situation was realizing that I had to change formats. If I was going to spend time at night in a nursery trying to be quiet, so my newborn son isn't awake, I had to transition from my absolute favorite format, which is physical books, paperback, hardback, it didn't matter. My Kindle a lot more, and that was really helpful for me because it kind of saved my eyes, as well as like my little mini ring lights. I used to just attach them to the top of the book and, you know, put them down, but the problem with that is like the battery dies and now I'm stuck. I can't read anymore until the battery is charged, you know, because I can't have all the lights on while my little baby boy is sleeping. I think something for me was transitioning into more of an ebook reader, even though I love my ebook. Especially when I was pregnant, I was like, ebook down. I think I had kind of transitioned out of that a little bit and I was really into my physical books, but I'm really, really thankful that I have this Kindle, and I would highly recommend, if you do not have a Kindle or any kind of e-reader, if you have your phone, if you have a tablet, if you have anything that you can read on, highly recommend. Personally, if you have the funds for it, invest, you know, do some research, but I would recommend a Kindle Paperwhite. They're super small, they're, you know, easily customizable. There's so many different options, and though you can't customize like the Kindle face itself, it offers a lot of physical customizations that I really liked. Now, personally, I got mine as a gift through social media campaigns. I can't really speak towards the price point, but if you're interested in learning a little bit more about Kindles, e-readers, and things like that, make sure you check out my Amazon storefront, link down in the description box. Highly recommend. If you're like me and you're like, you know, actually, I probably need something where I can kind of zone in a little bit more, audiobooks. I don't care if you're getting them from Libby, Hoopla, Libra FM, Audible, anywhere. Audiobooks are that girl, because they really offer an opportunity for you to be completely immersed in something. And you know, before I had my son, I wasn't super into audiobooks, and it wasn't because I don't think audiobooks are reading. I wasn't that girl, but I definitely, you know, I have ADD and I learned pretty quickly if I'm being stimulated audibly, it's very hard for me to stay focused or pay attention. There's not something happening for me visually. Pro tip: download like a mindless game on your phone, and I promise you, you will be so locked in, it scares you. I was playing like a bus traffic jam where you have to like send off the right color bus for the right color people, or I was playing like this like fruit stacking game, and that was really helpful because again, it's mindless, it's not high stakes, and it was a really great way for me to kind of keep my brain busy so that I can actually listen and enjoy the stories. It sounds really cliche to be like, once you're a mother, things change, but they really do. There is like this, you know, there's chemically things that are firing off in your brain that have never happened before, not to mention your new body, your new everything. You know, there's a human that is literally depending on you. So, you know, give yourself a little grace, try some things out. If it doesn't work, cool, you know, learn how to navigate it a little bit differently. Let me know down in the comments if you're a new mom and what your favorite format is. If you're not a new mom and you're enjoying this, hey, these might just be really good tips to get back into reading. These are also good tips for like a book slump, I think. The third is join book communities. I don't care if it's Book Talk, Booktube, a book club, a library event, an author event. Being a part of a community has a really almost insidious way of keeping you accountable and keeping you involved in something. It also is a really great way for you to be able to find yourself in the midst of the new identity of motherhood, because it can be all consuming, even as far as like your partnerships, your friendships, your family. It can really become like all about the baby, especially right after you have them. Your brain is just wired to like kick butt and take names, you know what I mean? So it's really helpful to build more community, build more of a support system, and you never know where those opportunities lead you. It might be a really great way for you to be able to find community as well as find yourself in the midst of this kind of identity shift. You know, you're still you. You know, you might do things a little differently, you might have different needs, but you're still you. Fourth tip sounds, again, cliche, but a really great tip: ask for help. Ask for help. I know not everybody has a very strong support system after having a child, even with the person that you had a child with. It's not my story, but I'm very aware of that story for my family members, my loved ones. A lot of people were navigating motherhood by themselves, and it's heavy enough even when you have a really strong support system. But if there's anybody you can reach out to, make sure that you do. Even if you are, you know, you're financially at a place where you can afford help, pay for a babysitter for an hour and read. You know, if you're paying that daycare all that money, you get off at 4 and in the house at 4:30, and they can hold your baby till 6. Why don't you go pick them up around 5:30? You know, it's just little things like that. And I know the mom guilt is blaring. It's loud, okay? The saxophones are getting louder, but I promise you, you show up as a much better caretaker when you're caretaking for yourself. And whether, you know, we as society, especially American capitalist society, only believe that productivity is the only thing worth our time. everything can't be about productivity. It just can't. You're not a robot. You're not a ledger. You're not an Excel sheet, you know? So you need to make sure that you are producing peace in your life as much as you can, because motherhood, you don't know what the day will bring. You might need to be a nurse, you might need to be a counselor, you might need to be, you know, anything for your child. So making sure that you're something for yourself is just so important. So if you can ask for help, if you can afford help, if you can, you know, figure out a way to incorporate your child into your reading habit, I think all of those things are really, really great. When you have a really, really young newborn, it's not as easy, but again, get that audiobook, girl. Get that audiobook. And if you're interested in trying out Audible, make sure you check my link. For a limited time, you're able to try Audible for 3 months free. You heard it here, folks. You heard it here, okay? Make sure you try it out. You know, you never know. And honestly, truthfully, closed mouths don't get fed. Mom guilt will have you thinking, oh my God, they're going to think I'm a bad mom. Everybody's going to think I'm never with my kid. Everybody's going to think it. What do you think? Close the noise. Quiet that mom guilt. What do you think? If you think, you know, I deserve an hour to read, do it. You know what I mean? And if you're not able to do that, create a little pocket for yourself. Your baby's taking a nap, everything's taken care of, you ain't got to go to work, you ain't got to be here, you ain't got to go there. If you're not exhausted, you got a little bit, just a little bit, give yourself 15 minutes. Read a little bit, because I promise you it's going to do something for you that is indescribable. I feel like for me, when I first became a mother, there were so many moments where I was like, I do not feel human. Like, I do not feel like a human. I feel like a caregiving machine. And though I was very proud of myself for that fact, I also was depleting myself in a way that I didn't realize the ramifications until it was too late. So don't be like me, girl. Don't be like me. Them saxophones is going to get louder, and it's not the mom guilt that's blowing it. It's your self-care. Just saying. And my last tip, it's a big one. Be gracious to yourself. It's hard. This is a hard job. It's thankless. You ain't get no money for it. You know what I mean? Even if somebody is giving you a little bit of money, it's not enough for the things that you encounter. Okay? One day my husband came in and he spilled something on me. It was something like that. He sneezed on me or something. And I was like, honey, I've had so many different bodily fluids from our son on me today, I didn't even notice. And prior to having my son, let somebody cough or sneeze in front of me. Even before COVID, I will be in the line checking out. Somebody cough, put it all back. I'm leaving. You know what I mean? Now, poop, pee, throw up, sneezing, licking, all of it, constantly covered in it. Right now, I'm not. Thank God, you know? Thank God. But for a minute there, it was just kind of like, girl, at this point, I'm a napkin, you know? But be gracious to yourself. Give yourself grace. Give your child grace. This is all new to them. It is all new. It's too loud. It's too bright. It's too colorful. Their eyes aren't even adjusted. Give yourself a break. And even if you're not a new mama, but you're a new book mama, give yourself grace. Give your loved ones grace too. They don't know what they're doing. Nobody does, honey. Nobody does. Do your best. And that's the best that you can do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Make sure, if you really love these tips, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell notification, because it really means a lot to me, as well as that thumbs up if you really loved it. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Thanks so much. Bye.